time, Farrah doesn't flinch.
Yeah, this has been a dream come true. As we've gone through this process, this was the only one. This was the only one that we saw, man, this could be a place that we could be here for a while, right? This is the type of place that ultimately you want to try to help and build and make it better. And that's why you coach. You coach to try to help players reach their highest potential to win.
This was a moment of progress, optimism, and confidence that we will achieve the ultimate goal as long as we have the right man. And number two, that man was Liam Coen. Liam's outstanding body of work speaks for itself. Quarterback development is the bedrock of modern NFL, and Liam has delivered that wherever he's coached.
Hey guys, this is Liam Coen, just touched down in Jacksonville. Let's get this thing started off right here. 3, 2, 1.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
That's what it sounded like a year ago when Liam Coen was being introduced to the masses as the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, bringing hope and optimism and all those things, Tony, and newness. And he got bulky out of the building, so he can't be that bad. I don't know how many games he's going to win, but we thank him for that. Well, turned out he won a whole hell of a lot of games, more than 3 times as many as last year. And Liam Coen and James Gladstone scheduled to hold their season wrap-up press conference here in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think it speaks to how ludicrous it was that they were as bad as they were the year before, right? Like it's hard to explain with so many of the same pieces still in the building that they would fail on the level that they did the season before to have the kind of season they did afterwards. And again, look, we've made the point all week. You don't know what it's going to look like next year. We're all feeling pretty good about it, but you got to rebuild the building again, right? And it's a yearly thing that you have to do. 2 years ago, the building crumbled, right? This year it stood firm. And we'll see what they can do in 2026 to make that happen again.
Remember when Del Rio came in his first year? I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something like, Tom Coughlin was like a wizard for how many games he won when y'all kicked him out last year. Like
competitive. Yeah.
Like, have you seen this roster and what I'm dealing with here? And Liam's like, I'll take that 4-win team and whip it into shape and go out there and win 13 and win the division. And yeah, it was disappointing the way it ended in the postseason. You didn't get a home victory, but there's a lot to build on. And, look, if let's say the Jags had won 10 and they got 10-7 and gotten a wild card, probably would have felt pretty good about it, right? Depending on, as long as you didn't get down, you weren't like 1-6 or something like that. Even then, you would have been thrilled by the way they finished the season. So 10-6 wild card, you go on the road, lose the playoff game, you'd be, you know what you'd say? We're way ahead of schedule. Mm-hmm. Well, if that's ahead of schedule, what is 13 wins and winning the division, right? I mean, So, Grant, again, it only matters for one team. You got to win the last game of the season. You win the championship. You lord it over everybody else. But everybody else is trying to get there. And that doesn't mean that there's nothing good that's happening if you're coming short of winning a championship. Hopefully you're putting the steps and the building blocks in place for future championships, that you can take that foundation and, just grow from there. And that doesn't mean, by the way, grow from there, you're going to go from 13 to 14 to 15 to 16 wins. It doesn't work like that. But if you can stay in that 11 to 13, 14 win area for the next half decade or so, and I think you'd take that in a heartbeat. Obviously, you wanted a lot longer than that, but we'll find out what's on the mind of Liam Coen and James Gladstone today. They'll take a lot of questions, and Dan and Jeff just asked me what I'd like to hear answers to. Mostly stuff that they're not going to answer, right? That's why we asked our question of the day today, if they were forced to answer truthfully. Not that they're going to lie to you, but they're going to not tell you what their plans are for certain things. Hey, what's your free agency priority? Well, why would they want to let you know that. Now, they may talk about a few positions that need shoring up, but they're not going to get into, well, here's what we're going to do with Travis Etienne, right? And here's what we're going to do with Devin Lloyd. And that's the stuff I'd like to know about. And only time passing and letting it play out is going to give you the answer to those questions.
Absolutely. It doesn't mean that those aren't the questions that fans are going to ask. And, we've already seen some of the early responses. I saw like 2 of the first 3 responses were basically, hey, what are we doing at edge? Was essentially what they were asking.
But that's okay. I mean, that's what you want to know.
Yeah, that's fine. It's not that they can give you a good answer on that right at this point, even if I'm sure it's part of the plan.
I'm sure they'll talk about the young guys that they developed this year at the position and guys that they know are going to be part of the future will be discussed.
And it's even trying to think through like the question that we have out there this morning, trying to find a question where when you get an honest answer to it, what does that mean? Right? Like how productive is the answer? Right? Because I understand the concern for the Jags have to address edge, right? And I think if you ask them right now, what are you going to do to address edge? Their answer is basically going to be, we're going to address edge. And I don't know what else they can tell you.
Right. Well, I think it's always deeper than that, man. I mean, like they have an idea. I don't think they don't have any. You think James Gladstone's not aware of who's going to be a pending free agent at these different positions?
Sure, but they have no control over anyone that's going to be available to him in the draft.
Understood, but I think what people would want to know is what is your plan? What do you hope to have? Would you like to get a guy in free agency that could come in and be a top 3 guy in your rotation, or push to be a starter, or whatever the case may be? And then what would that mean if you fail to get that? I mean, I bet some of the wheels have already turned on that. Obviously, I don't expect them to get into that level of specificity.
No, and honestly, I wouldn't want them to.
It wouldn't behoove the Jags to put your business out there.
But for the purposes of our question, if that's the one that you want the answer to, I can understand it.
Let me just point out, too, if you're listening to us on the stream right now on YouTube or X or Facebook for the oldsters.
Or the apps.
Any of the apps, any streaming device, other than your what we call terrestrial radio station. We will not be covering the press conference on those apps and those platforms because that's the exclusive rights of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You can find it streaming over at jaguars.com, and we encourage you to do that if that's what you need to do. And otherwise, keep it right here on 1010XL or 92.5 FM, and you'll be able to hear Liam Coen and James Gladstone. I would imagine maybe make a statement and then just open it up for questions and see how long it goes. I'm anticipating maybe 30 minutes for the whole thing, but we'll cover it in its entirety, and we're going to head there right now with Liam Coen and James Gladstone.
Contributions. It's a fun one to talk through, and obviously
Hope you were able to take all that in, and we'll get you back up on the stream here in a moment as well. A lot to take in there, Tony, as Liam Coen and James Gladstone went for about 35, 37 minutes, somewhere in that range. One piece of news, the Miami Dolphins have officially requested an interview with defensive coordinator Anthony Campanile for their head coaching position. So we'll talk about that coming up, and plenty of notes we both took on everything they had to say. If you've got questions or comments about what you heard, we'd love to hear from you at 641-1010. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the renewal from the XL Digital Studios, brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Your home deserves more than just another coat of paint. It deserves quality that lasts. At First Coast Paint, you'll find premium Benjamin Moore products, trusted advice, and the local experts who help you get it right the first time. Whether it's your living room, your porch, or your whole house, First Coast Paint brings your paint project to life. Stores in St. John's and St. Augustine. One name Jacksonville trusts. Mention 1010XL for 10% off. First Coast Paint. Simply superior paint.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
Start your new year off healthy and get screened at Ackerman Urology for common cancers of the prostate, bladder, and kidney. Early detection is key with 5 locations across Northeast Florida. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to FloridaHomeAC.com/careers to find out more.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting!
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and this month I want to talk to you about welcoming the winds of change in your life. But so often, when we see the winds of change coming our way, our immediate response is to fight it. Friends, when you see things in your life changing, when the winds of change are coming your way, don't fight it, but embrace it. Recognize that God is stirring you up so that you too can soar like an eagle.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Jacksonville homes are selling, but it can take months, and it takes a price lower than you want. Well, getting top price means aggressive marketing, and Chad and Sandy Newman are the Jacksonville experts who have proven systems to drive the demand to sell your home. And they have this unbelievable promise and guarantee. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. If you need to sell now, Chad and Sandy have instant offers. Fast, easy, and stress-free. You want max price? Chad and Sandy are going to aggressively market your home, and they're going to get it. Anthony and Mary in Palm Coast said, we wanted to move back home closer to family. Getting max price was more important than a fast sell, but we had only purchased our home last year, so we didn't have much equity. After just 23 days of aggressive marketing with Chad and Sandy, they sold our house at the price we needed to make the move. Call the Jacksonville experts you can trust, and I recommend. Call Chad and Sandy at 904-414-6200 or chadandsandy.com.
Ticket here for Action Garage Door. Nothing more frustrating than your garage door misfiring. When it does, I call Action Garage Door. They take action. Jeff and Art and crew, Jacksonville folks, not some big out-of-town chain. Something goes wrong with your garage door, take action. Check them out. Garage Door 911, garagedoor911.com.
What Baltimore Orioles player received a 22-minute standing ovation?
For over 20 years, Southern Oak Insurance has given Floridians a better alternative to their current homeowner's policy. See what you can get with Southern Oak. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Cal Ripken holds the record of playing 2,632 consecutive games. On his final game, the Oriole great received a 22-minute standing ovation.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Find the middle of the fairway with your drives. Get the golf tips and talk to keep you straight.
That's a great tee shot.
On the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, lots of notes from what we heard. We got to catch back up here as, we wanted to take that live and let you hear it in its entirety. And I hope you enjoyed that. And we're back up. We back up streaming, Dylan Denmark?
Back up on all streams.
That's excellent for the folks who, I understand if you tune in 5 minutes in, you don't know what's going on. You're like, hey, where's the show? The funniest one, though, is somebody who quote tweeted me when I said we can't stream it. You can stream it at Jaguars.com. They quote tweeted my tweet and asked, no stream today?
Listen, Linda.
Is that a troll or it may be? I don't know. It could be a troll. All right. To me, Tony, a couple of the things that I took out of this that were most interesting. I'm listening for little verbal indicators, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were asked about 4 different players and their future, basically, or what they did this year and what they can build on, which is part of, in one, Brent Martineau asked about Brian Thomas and where do you see him going forward? That kind of thing, right? What does the future hold for Devin Lloyd? Those kind of questions. So people are trying to, without coming out and saying, are you going to bring back Devin Lloyd? You're trying to ask it in a way that leads him down that path. Now, I thought, here's the notes I took on the players that were asked about in that kind of fashion. Brian Thomas Jr., they talked about, James Gladstone talked about the output of the collective. You're not worried about one guy having the big numbers. But Liam Coen followed up that Brian Thomas, or as he put it, BT, will 100% be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that indicates to me like a guy who is in the Jaguars' future plans. I'm not saying to a lot of people, they say, well, of course he is. But there's, talk out there, should they try and trade Brian Thomas Jr. for whatever they can get in draft capital and, kind of reset their wide receiver room to some degree.
It indicates at least that someone may call, but they're not shopping him.
Right, they're not, right. But even more strongly, I thought on Trayvon. Okay, James Gladstone talking about the kind of year he had. He talked about basically the intangibles of Trayvon Walker. He said Trayvon loves this place, loves his teammates. He's the kind of guy you want in the building going forward, which is a question because he's going into this fifth-year option season, the last year of control for the Jaguars. And do you get an extension with him? Obviously, that indicates they like him to be a part of it. It's got to make financial sense. So there's some expressed interest in both of those guys being a big part of the Jaguars' future. Devin Lloyd and Buster Brown, Monteric Brown, were asked about specifically, and both of the answers were talking about, they did a great job this year. Here's what they did well. Yeah. What a year they had. Not even a peep about, and I understand that. I wouldn't expect them to say, here's our plan. Devin's our top priority free agent, or we probably are going to have to move on from Monteric because of this, or whatever, So it was, you ask the question, you give them the opportunity to go as far as they're willing to go. You're not going to you shouldn't expect a direct, hey, is Devin Lloyd going to get re-signed here? They're probably interested in Devin Lloyd coming back. At what price point? They're not going to get into all the specifics of that. So I just thought it was interesting on a few of those players, particularly, though, with Trayvon, what Gladstone said, the kind of guy you want in the building going forward. Because, again, there's only 1 year left, and there's going to be a big debate about how much money you should pay Trayvon Walker.
Yeah, and he's sharp. Right? Obviously, he's a sharp guy, and I think he understands, at the end of those questions, he knows the two guys that are free agents that he's being asked about there, and they know the two guys they're being asked about that are under contract in Jacksonville.
Correct.
Right? And they kind of talk about it in those kind of terms, so you don't get anything definitive about whether or not the two free agents are going to be back here. They expressed that they really appreciate what they got out of them this year. Did you see what they did this year? They're just kind of pointing back at it saying, look how good they were for us this year. We put them in these places. They were very successful doing those kind of things, but not committing one way or the other about how they feel about what they're willing to spend to bring either of those pieces back. And the two guys that are definitely going to be in the building next year, they said, we love these guys. Right? And I think you can almost anticipate going into a press conference like that one today, someone's going to ask you about Brian Thomas Jr., given the kind of season he had with the expectations coming in. So you need to have a good answer, right, for how you're going to reply to that when it gets put out there in front of you. And Trayvon, it makes sense because he is going into the fifth-year option. There's all the kind of trade kind of whispers out there with both those guys potentially, right? And they're like, look, we're going to be asked about him. We got answers. About how we feel about him in the building.
We're going to answer it the way we're going to answer it, and that's it. And you have, they answered a lot of questions, but it went by pretty quickly. And, somebody pointed out on a YouTube chat, they never mentioned ETN, but correct. They didn't mention every single pending free agent.
Probably would have gotten a similar answer.
ETN fit in great. He did this. He did that. We loved what he brought to the team this year. And boom, cut it off right there. And no hint one way or the other. Who wouldn't want Devin Lloyd back, right? Yeah. And again, though, it's not just a question of do we want his fit on the football team. It's do we want his fit at whatever that price point is going to be, which is
want them all
probably going to be expensive.
Yeah. They won 13 games. I don't see
There's
a whole lot of
good reason to bring back most of these guys, or a lot of them at least. All right, we got to take another quick break here, trying to get back on time a little bit as things got pushed back. John Oehser coming up next hour. We'll get to your calls coming up as well at 641-1010 if you'd like to weigh in on anything you heard in today's presser. Our question today was asking you what you wanted to hear from Liam Coen or James Gladstone, or what you'd ask them given the opportunity. So we'll see which ones of those questions got answered as well as we get into the second hour of the program. We'll continue to break down what we heard today as we continue on with Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Debs here for my friends at Dandy Foods. 70 years in business in Jacksonville, locally owned and operated by the Thompson family since way back in 1956. I've talked about their excellent products for over a decade. Personally enjoyed them for about 3 times as long because Dandy is the perfect go-to when you're in a hurry and you don't want the hassle of a long wait. You can't go wrong. A great value compared to the drive-thru. Fast, fresh, always tasty, and waiting for you in cold cases at convenience stores all over Jacksonville. As a matter of fact, on the north side, the newly remodeled Circle K on Broward Road is an excellent choice with a great selection of Dandy offerings, whether it's the classic double cheeseburger or my favorite tuna salad wedge. You're going to find something that suits your taste, and it'll satisfy even the most discriminating of appetites. Always fresh, always delicious, great variety, and the prices that put a smile on your face. Dandy's the name to know in Duval, so when you're hungry, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars Today.
For the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. Duval all day. Search 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube.
Did you know your roof ages from the inside out? By the time you see a leak, damage already exists beneath the shingles. Sun exposure, humidity, and seasonal storms slowly weaken roofing materials over time. If your roof is 15 years old or more, then now is the time to start planning, not reacting. At Endless Summer Roofing, we provide professional inspections and clear guidance so you can make informed decisions. Visit EndlessSummerRoofing.com to schedule a free inspection. Endless Summer Roofing, protecting your home from Florida's endless summer.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on 1010XL. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Florida doesn't ease into the heat. It comes fast and it comes hard. And if your AC barely survived last summer, you're already on borrowed time. That's why Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning wants you to start the year off strong with a new AC system. Make the smart move before summer hits. Right now, get their lowest price of the year, $1,000 off a new AC system when you install by February 28th. Call now to schedule your free estimate and get ahead of the season. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 14th, 1951, the NFL held its very first Pro Bowl in the LA Coliseum, where Otto Graham was named the MVP.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass. He told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm Mac with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
PRI Productions is the official game day production partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hi, I'm Randy Goodwin, president and owner of PRI Productions. chances are, if you've been in Jacksonville over the last 30 years, you've seen our work, from corporate and social events to concert production and much more. We have the equipment and expertise to make your next event memorable. So call the experts at the Jaguars Call. PRI Productions, bringing your ideas to life.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Happy New Year, sports fans. Hicken here, and let's keep the skincare talk going while we ring in the new year. You know it's winter, a little cold outside. That sun is still shining, so let's always be reminded to take care of our skin. Beach's Dermatology now has a new location open in Fernandina. So if you live just a little north of Duval, you can now see the pros at Beach's Dermatology without having to make the drive to Jax. Go online to beachesdermatology.com to book your skincare appointment today. That's beachesdermatology.com.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, letting you know that Hardball now offers web stores, so your employees can order their own branded gear, and you have more time for Wordle. Check it out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Man, one thing I am glad of, Tony, a lot of things I'm glad of, but one thing is I am glad I'll never take another class because I am a terrible note taker these days. Like all throughout high school, college, I took all my notes by printing, right? I don't write in cursive. I print everything out. Can you develop dyslexia the older you get? Like, I'm not joking here. Like, I so many words I write down. Like, I'm write down Devin Lloyd. I know how to spell Devin Lloyd's name, but it's not L-L-Y-O-D. But that's like...
if you know it, then it's good. It don't matter, because nobody else is going to read it.
Right, nobody else is going to read it. I'm just wondering, though, is that just me being, like, in the moment, just trying to write too fast, or is that my brain switching letters around in the word? One of those, right? Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I would not want you to try to decipher the chicken scratch that I've got right here. Big question this offseason for the Jacksonville Jaguars is what's going to happen with Travis Hunter moving forward, right? Yeah. And there are a few questions early about Travis Hunter, and James Gladstone weighed in, said that his rehab is going as expected, that he's having his and I'm paraphrasing on all this, so don't quote me directly, but I'm giving you the general gist.
I got the audio if you want it.
Do you have the Travis Hunter one?
For, Gladstone or Coen?
Yeah, Gladstone first.
All right, I got it. It's about a minute.
All right.
The cool thing about our offensive system, and this is my observation, Liam can dive into the details, is each and every game presents a different problem for an opponent. You never know who it is that's going to pop off. You look back at sort of the output of the collective. We had 3 receivers go over 700 yards. That's abnormal. That's not typical. To be able to spread the wealth, so to speak, is a really positive thing. And with Jacoby's arrival, it certainly allowed BT to continue to level up in areas that fit within the system itself that were fit for his skill set and allowed him to be the best version of himself down that back stretch of the season. To your point, BT in particular, when you were talking a little bit about Travis being wide receiver 1, the wide receiver 1 doesn't necessarily exist in the system in the way that you would typically feel like it might.
All right, that was actually a question about Brian Thomas, and when he talked about the output of the collective. But when he was asked about Travis Hunter, said the rehab was going as expected, talked about his attitude in the building, how it was, just infectious, and that personality was still there. Expect him to play on both sides of the ball once again, but he said you can basically kind of look at the depth chart, right, and see where guys are under contract and where we've got some holes right now. So at the moment, you would expect, like everyone else has logically sussed out, that there'll be a greater emphasis on defense this year. That's where you need it more at the moment, based on the roster is currently constructed. You could have injuries. You could trade guys away. All kinds of things can happen between then and now. But I think if we all sit there and go, well, you got Jacoby Myers, you got Parker, you got Brian Thomas, you got some pass catchers here that you can rely on. And the offense scored 33 points a game over the second half of the season without Travis Hunter in there. we need more help locking guys down. If we had a little tighter coverage against the Bills, would we have been moving on? So that's an oversimplification, but it makes perfect logical sense that he would have a greater snap count on defense expected in 2026.
Yeah, and the GM kind of confirming that kind of thing, but also at the end of that comment, if I remember correctly, kind of tossed it back to Liam. It's like he's going to put together a plan, right, for how all this is going to look as we go through the offseason here. But that was just kind of a brief thought going into the offseason. Look, you can look at the roster and see that the bigger holes are going to be in the secondary. So, yeah, maybe he plays a little bit more on that side of the ball. It may make sense just looking at the construction of the roster at this point in time. But obviously, with all these things, nothing's decided.
Yeah, Coen followed up. He said he won't label Travis Hunter as wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. That was before he started getting into the whole output of the collective stuff. But he said he's excited to get back to work with him. And we'll see where he fits in. I mean, I'm sure they don't know exactly. They can't know. We'll see how it all plays out, where are your injuries, where are your needs. But the idea that Travis Hunter's not going to play on both sides of the ball is not an accurate one. It's a degree to how much he does it. Yeah. And that's fair because they did want to make him a full-time guy on both sides. And as they kind of revolutionize the game of football, right? So have you backed off that? Well, maybe. I don't know if they would say that they backed off of it, but I just think the reality of it is that it's going to be difficult for him to play 140 snaps or 130 snaps or whatever over the course of a football game week in, week out in the NFL with all the mental and physical demands that come with it. But they're going to give him a shot, I think, to impact the team as much as he possibly can.
No doubt.
All right, let's take a time out here. John Oehser joining us for hour number 2 from Jaguars.com, and we'll continue to react from what we heard or to what we heard from Liam Coen and James Gladstone today. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today
from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser start the week by giving the ball to the best back in Duval.
And off, Fred Taylor.
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins DUI defense firm on 1010XL.
Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, your locally owned commercial truck headquarters and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, it's Rick Ballou. We got a fresh shipment of hard-to-find ProMaster vans, perfect for Section 179. My buddy Tommy and his team are committed to the community and make the process simple. Upfits, delivery, everything handled right. If you need ProMaster vans or commercial trucks for your fleet, you need Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside.
It's Awaken 180 Weight Loss Wednesday
on Jaguars Today.
Get a healthy start in 2025. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to encourage you to get healthy and stay healthy this year. They have a dedicated team who are committed to providing quality care. The goal is to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Visit duval.floridahealth.gov to learn more about their health programs and services. That's duval.floridahealth.gov.
Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish. And he's listening to the Nimnicht Outdoor Show.
With tips and stories.
Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Every Saturday morning, 7 to 10.
On 1010XL.
Finding the right plumber to reline your cast iron pipes doesn't have to be a stressful experience. When you hire Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, you can rest assured you're getting the best in the industry. At Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, we're so confident in our work that we encourage you to get multiple estimates. Look at each company's reviews and check the scope of their pipelining work to make sure it's what you're expecting. But at the end of the day, make the superior choice. Superior Plumbing and Pipelining. Request a free estimate at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. We're your local family jeweler for 46 years in Jacksonville with a huge selection of diamonds, gemstones, and pre-owned Rolex watches. And Monahan Jewelers is your store for expert jewelry repair turned around in 1 or 2 days. Most jewelry stores take 2 weeks or more, and many stores send your jewelry somewhere else for repair. At Monahan Jewelers, our jewelry repair is done in-house by expert craftsmen, and Monahans can turn around most repairs in a day or two. So bring your jewelry repair to Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
It's 2026, and it's time to get your home zero-resified by calling our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 20% off carpet and upholstery cleaning right now, plus take $100 off air duct cleaning when you mention 1010XL. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker with IHRS. People ask, are your solutions for thinning hair permanent? Yes, our solutions have permanent natural results and are guaranteed to work. Put our 35 years of experience helping 10,000 plus men and women to work for your thinning hair. Our trademark hair transplant procedures will give you 3 times more hair in one procedure. PRP and laser treatments are fast, easy, and effective, and only take 30 minutes. Most of our staff have experienced hair loss ourselves. Our caring and confidential team can help you look better and feel better about yourself and restoring your hair again.
For your confidential consultation, call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or go to hairforme.com. That's hairforme.com.
Next time you head into a Gate convenience store, look for Form Energy Drink, designed to provide energy, hydration, and focus, straight from Dana White and AB, celebrating those who embrace grit, discipline, and resilience in their everyday lives. Check out Form Energy at a Gate convenience store.
This is your local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. The Miami Dolphins have requested an interview with Jaguars defensive coordinator Anthony Campanile for their head coaching job, according to reports. In his first year as coordinator, the Jaguars defense led the NFL in rush defense and were only the 3rd team since 2000 to not allow opposing rushers to reach 75 yards in a single game. Right now, 58 degrees at 11:04. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. It's time for Oh No's with Jaguars.com's John Osher. Oh No's.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Served up by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
All right, Johnny O pushing the agenda is what he's pushing every Wednesday. What's going on with you?
I just got back from the presser.
Yeah.
And I hear you're having some issues with people that don't like what you're saying about the presser.
Nah, it's all right. I'm not having. They're having issues with me. I don't even know what we're saying about the presser.
Misinterpreting stuff all around again. Overemphasizing.
It's the life. 3 better, 3 best. Explain that, please.
It's when they bring them in and say, here's what you excelled at. Here's 3 things you need to get better at. Basically, it's a evaluation.
So
moment.
three better is 3 things you need to be better at. 3 best is here's 3 things you're already
here are
good
your
at.
strengths. Here's what you need to get better at.
Okay,
basically.
All right.
Don't ask me my.
I mean, that's all right. It's fine. Everything's got to be a little slogan, and I get it. But
yeah, they said that quite a bit last year.
Did they? 3 better, 3 best?
Yeah.
I literally don't remember hearing that phrase until today.
When they were going to be meeting with players, that's sort of their in the off season. Okay, here's what we like. Here's what we need to, to improve on. So,
all right. Look, it's fine. I tell you,
they tried that with me. They couldn't find the 3
I've
best.
never heard. Were you aware of that expression being used?
It felt familiar right when they said it, and in my head, I was like, that had to be something they emphasized last offseason, and I just forgot.
I guess. I mean, it feels like a thing they would say.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's not a big deal either way. So, a lot of what was your main takeaway if you had one?
The general stuff, which is that they're not going to stand pat. That the mountain. You got to start pushing the ball with the mountain, which is what teams say after a successful season like this. I did think it was significant that they spoke in the way that they spoke about Trayvon, Brenton, Parker, Washington, meaning they said those guys clearly wanted to be parts of their future. I thought those were significant statements. Now,
Liam also said he wanted to excited to work with BTJ. He'll be 100% a part of the the mission going forward.
And they kind of in the wide receiver conversation sort of went over what we all saw as reality, which is there's not really a true one, which was pretty obvious. I thought James talking about it being fairly evident from the depth chart that Travis Hunter was going to play corner. Again, as I heard you saying before I came in,
common sense, right?
Common sense, but sometimes when GMs and coaches talk in pressers, sometimes they don't sort of reiterate common sense.
He did say he'd go both ways, so he said he'll play on both sides, but obviously the greater need is where we see it.
Yeah, and so I thought those were the high points. I'll transcribe it, parse through it, and sort of pull out and write on it in coming days, and probably see more. But those seemed like the talking points on to get misinterpreted on Twitter.
No, Twitter, YouTube, you name it, they're out there. Let's see. Gladstone talked about the offensive line, the fact that basically the entire offensive line's under contract. So they want to still add probably to it and create competition, but you're in a pretty good spot. And I thought also, Tony, just James Gladstone talking about where he is now compared to where he was a year ago. A year ago, he's doing work for the LA Rams at this point in time. We're nowhere close to James Gladstone. I mean,
he can be ahead of where the process was for him last year.
Right, because he knows, he had to come in.
He knows the roster,
learn the team, right? Learn. Not only we can all look at a roster and go, well, we think that guy's good, think that guy's good, but you don't know how they fit into your ecosystem, chemistry in the locker room, in addition to how well they're going to play under what you're asking of them. And he just thinks he'll be much better prepared
for the
draft and free agency because of that.
I think about if it was us and we were going to watch, I don't know, the Carolina Panthers, or maybe even a bad example, a team that the Jaguars didn't play this year, the Philadelphia Eagles, or a lower profile team.
Saquon's good.
You would go and you can watch film, you can race through 17 games as a GM and do as much as you can, like a few weeks watching it. But the process of watching a team during the season, then watching them practice, then coming back and developing how you feel about a player, obviously it's more in depth, and he's miles ahead of even where he was in May of last year. Their knowledge and feel for the roster and their knowledge of what they've been having conversations in October about, hey, at this position, what are you thinking? Okay, let's play it out. But the conversations have been going on. Last year they had yet to start. So of course they have a better feel for where they want to go.
And I think speaking to the clarity they found as quickly as they did in the direction they wanted to take the roster, if you're going to look at one move, and they bragged on Britton Strange, I would too. Right? Like if I was in the front office or the coaching staff, given the situation they had going into last year, they didn't have to move on from Evan Ingram.
Right.
Like they didn't have to feature Britton Strange that way in the offense, but they looked at it and said, this is us.
Yeah, they very quickly knew that this was a core guy.
Right. And I would brag on it if I were them. It's like, we got this one right. You don't have to say it that way, but when you think about the quickness of making that kind of decision with a player as high profile as Evan Ingram seemed to be at the time for the franchise to say, we can move on from that. And not only do we think we'll be okay, we'll think we'll be better for having moved on from Evan Ingram at that spot. And it appears they made the right call on that.
Yeah. And sort of the same, it felt like a joining move. Same thing with Christian Kirk. I loved Christian Kirk.
Right.
But Parker Washington was better.
Yeah, I loved him until Monday.
Right.
A great game Monday, yeah.
But overall, those moves, which were very, I think we all answered a month's worth of what are they going to do without these guys, those turned out to be the right moves.
Don't look down your nose at months-long off-season debates, buddy, because we can't debate who they're taking with the first pick this year, at least the first rounder.
There was no looking down at the.
It's nice to have a couple that you can look back on and say they got it right.
Yeah.
Especially when their decisions, when they're made, we all kind of go.
They had plenty of things they got right, yeah. And then they missed some as well, and we'll continue to talk about that as we get deeper into the offseason. 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines. Let's get Philip in Arlington before we hit our next break. Philip, you're on Jaguars Today. Go ahead.
Top of the morning, boys. Incredible season. I mean, but that last game is still kind of wearing on me. But what gets me is I didn't know any of these guys before they got hired. I didn't know who Liam Coen was. I didn't know who Campanelli was. But look at the job they've done. But it kind of irks me that teams are already sniffing around Campanelli for a head coaching job. Doesn't Shad Khan have the wherewithal to sit down with Campanelli and say, look, what do you need? What's your salary for 4 or 5 years? Because can't they let us at least get to a Super Bowl? Because I kind of like having a Goomba from Jersey as our defensive coordinator, man.
All right, I appreciate it, Philip. No,
May not be
you're
best
never
for Coach
gonna.
Camp,
You're
yeah.
not gonna pay him. Look, Jim
Because here's
Harbaugh.
what he doesn't have. He doesn't have a head coaching job for him.
Correct. And
That's the bottom line.
But even beyond that, if you could be made whole with money, right? John Harbaugh, the rumor is he wants $20 million as a salary and a $10 million budget for his coaching staff, for the entire coaching staff, right? You're not going to pay
Right.
Anthony Campanelli what it would take. And like you said, even if you did match the money, he's just a defensive coordinator. It's not, and I think
They
Phillips
all
is
want
more
the
like
gig.
realizes that and is expressing that. Look, that's a great compliment to the fact that Liam Coen hired some pretty good guys and that they performed very well. So that's part of the gig. You want your coordinators getting jobs. It's a tough spot to be. You don't want to lose them, but you want them to do well enough that they're in the
Liam is
conversation.
here.
Right.
Because he was one of those coordinators that did a great job.
Yeah, the Jags saw it, said, hey, you're our guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, no one else has to feel that way about it. We know you're our guy. Tampa could have made him the guy if they wanted to. They chose not to. Jags get him. We'll see what happens with Bowles going into the future, but all right, that's how it is.
Look,
the coordinators get talked to.
I want Campanelli back 100% as well. Right? I don't want any of these guys. I want him to get interest. You can give him a little pay bump if you want. Do whatever you want, but I like him back. That's me being selfish. Obviously, I know that, this time next year, if we have another season like we did this year, likely one, if not both, are poached by somebody out
I'd be
there.
surprised. I'd be surprised if both of them aren't head coaches in 2027.
Yeah, we'll see. And, we probably could have said that about different Jaguar coordinators or coordinator prospects or whatever over the years. This guy's not going to be
The
around here
tides
very
rise
long.
and fall on that job.
Yes, they do. All right. Thank you, Philip. If you want to get in and follow Philip, 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. John Ozier's here. We'll continue to react to what we heard today from James Gladstone and Liam Coen. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. Get in the huddle with 1010XL's QB.
All right, guys, let's make a play for 1010XL.
David Garrard joins Mike and Fat Tony on Jaguars Today. Restored by Resto Pros of Northeast Florida on 1010XL.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Awaken 180 weight loss.
Jaguars Today, Wednesday.
Game days aren't the only win happening in the 904. Best of Bold City named 904 Gutters with a Z, the #1 seamless gutter company in Duval. Like the team's O-line protects their QB. Call the winning team at 904 Gutters with a Z to protect your home from the rain.
I'm Frank Franzi, and I just got back from the farm at Okefenokee. Man, it's incredible. Just an hour north of Jacksonville and Folkestone. I was so impressed. It's about connecting with nature, with food, with community. And now you can own your very own handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm. Everything you need is there. You'll hardly need to go grocery shopping. Learn more about all of it at okefarm.com. That's OKEfarm.com, the farm at Okefenokee.
When someone excels in and out of the classroom, we should celebrate it.
That's why 1010XL brings you the Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Wednesdays on The Frangie Show, tuned up by
The Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. Jacksonville's building a fence along the goal line. This is the Superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
Josh Hines Allen was spectacular for the Teal and Black in the wild card round. The star defensive end recorded 4 tackles against Buffalo, and he would also deliver a sack. It was the most fun he's had this year, and it was a joy being able to watch him. And he's your Superior Fence and Rails Defensive Player of the Game.
You waited forever for your new fence. Then strangers show up. Subcontractors rushing the job. Sent by the company you trusted. Frustrating, right? Superior Fence and Rail promises better. Their professionally trained builders deliver quality you can trust. No subcontractors, no shortcuts. Just the superior craftsmanship your home deserves.
When you're on the fence about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, a Jacksonville family business for nearly 70 years. Heck, I've been talking about them for over a decade. The Thompson family secret, Dandy is never frozen. Always fresh baked bread with quality meats and cheeses. No dry, crumbly subs here. Only soft and tasty deliciousness. When I see that logo with the little guy with the cane on the label, it tells me I'm getting a trusted brand and a quality sandwich. So do what I do. Stop in at a Circle K and make yours a Dandy today.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. The online banking services are outstanding. So easy to use, depositing checks through the mobile app is fast and efficient. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Credit Union in the Best of Bold City Community Choice Awards for 3 years running, and it's easy to see why. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Oh noes.
Served up by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft on 1010XL.
Well, I love these people. Mike, to be in sports and the media, 3 better, 3 best is a long-standing saying for all levels of sports. You should know what that is. Anybody, seriously, prior to the Jaguars' usage of that phrase, which you say goes back to the offseason, Tony and I can't remember a single instance of it today. Have you ever heard anyone in sports? Is this a common phraseology?
I can't say it's been common phraseology. I can't say I've never heard it before this.
I can. Guarantee, and I guess I haven't watched sports over 57 years. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, I just Googled the phrase. There's not a single example that comes up of someone actually using that phrase when you Google it. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm
I Googled Jaguars 3 better, 3 best, thinking maybe there was something written in the offseason.
Something.
And this will get me there. And it was like, this is probably regarding like the 3 best players for the Jaguars.
Right.
And I'm like, no.
But used in this specific, whatever. I mean, it's just a weird thing.
Yeah,
I just
think
never
you
heard
and
it before.
Would have been all over it if it had been you better, you bet.
I just love the gatekeepers, though. Like, you clearly don't know ball if you don't know this obscure expression that's
There's
used.
a lot of people out there who know a lot of ball.
Oh, my gosh. They really do. So
it's impressive.
Apparently, I'm not one of them, all right? Because I've never heard the expression 3 better, 3 best. And I get the concept, but I don't think it's just a household phraseology.
No,
that's used
I would not
on
call it
all levels of every sport.
No.
You know, so
I should use it on my fantasy team. I'd have beat you.
You should have. You should have made that that may be my team
I had to talk
name
with
next
Stafford
year.
after
3
that
better, 3 best. That's what we'll go with. Let's see. Runways available, said James Gladstone, to young players getting more time. And he pointed out something I thought was interesting. He goes, everybody will look at Puka Nacua and go, man, you guys really just hit on all your young guys in Los Angeles. He goes, okay, yeah, he's one, but go look at a bunch of other guys, and it was second year, third year, and they were homegrown guys. Use Kyron Williams as an example. I think he had a very non-noteworthy rookie season.
You mentioned two players, and they both got hurt, and then got second contracts. I forget the second one.
Safety, I think.
Yeah.
Whoever. But his point being that, and because that's one thing, you look at this class of rookies, and you're like, well, you got a few contributions here and there. And I'm not saying it's not noteworthy. Anytime you get anything out of a 7th-round pick, it's generally pretty good. But you didn't have a rookie come in and be one of your top 10 players this year. I mean, maybe Travis Hunter would have ended up being that, but he didn't stay on the field. Caleb Branson never got on the field. Wyatt Milam, they talked about, got hurt in the third week of preseason, and it set him back, and who knows, but I think, John, that's what you look to. All right, we don't have a first-round pick, but we're getting a first-round caliber talent back in Hunter, and you're getting your other 2 top draft picks with a full year under their belt, at least in the case of Milam, to be around it. Ransom was around it, a full off season, and now a second off season to prepare them.
Yeah, I would say that ideally, if you've got things going, which they got things going very quickly, if you draft, you would rather not have drafted linemen playing in the first year. You'd love to be in a situation where they don't have to and you're still good, which happened. I think they think Milam and Monheim will be starters at some point. But if you can draft guys who will be starters at some point who don't have to start as rookies, that's what you want, especially on the offensive line.
I'd love for him.
They would have loved to have had Ransaw again in the starting lineup this year.
Oh, no doubt.
That was one that all year, that was a clear, this is what we wanted, and didn't happen.
But did his absence give Antonio Johnson more room to develop, right?
No question it did.
I mean, and, are we happy that Jacoby Myers is part of the picture? Because if Travis Hunter doesn't get hurt, he probably isn't part of the picture, And I'm not saying that I'd rather not have had Travis Hunter. I want all these guys to stay healthy.
But I don't think it would have been as quick a gelling dynamic at receiver, which we all saw. All of a sudden, this thing looked dramatically different than it did for 6 weeks. I don't think it's realistic to think that would have happened had Travis Hunter and not Jacoby been in the lineup.
By the way, Kyron Williams did get hurt his rookie season, but he played 10 games, and he had 139 yards rushing. So even when he played, he wasn't an impactful player, and that was kind of his point. And then the last 3 years, 1144, 1299, 1252 on the ground. So he's gotten a lot out of those guys. Nothing came up on Travis Etienne specifically today. I wouldn't expect him to really say anything, though. Travis cut half the league out when it comes to free agency. He's like, man, no cold weather for me. I shouldn't say it, but I ain't gonna find him playing for the Buffalo Bills anytime soon.
Well, if the money's right.
True, but if the money is relatively close and that's your preference, some guys just are that way.
No, I was born in Louisiana, went to Clemson, played here. I mean, I think he was born, but from Louisiana. He made no bones about it.
I've heard that
he won the getaway day.
There's some consideration in the building for maybe using the transition tag on Travis Etienne. Does that make sense?
That would make sense. I still think it might be hard to make that work, but it does make sense. You save, I think, $2 million instead of the franchise tag, $3 million. So
2.5 to 3, yeah.
Yeah, I still think that they would like. I think they would like to add, in addition to what they have, inside runner. Something that's a little stronger between the tackles than what they've got. That doesn't necessarily mean not having those guys.
Do they not see Bajal Tutin as being capable of doing that?
I think they hope. I'm not sure he showed it this year. In what they wanted. They're both really good outside the tackles this year. I don't know how great the backs as a whole were inside the tackles.
Is that them? Is that, what kind of holes you're opening up? I mean,
probably both. I mean, the running game's always both, but I think it was a combination.
I thought Tutin, if you ask me, can Tutin handle it between the tackles? My impression of his rookie season is that he can. you know?
Well, in the preseason we saw him, he looked like he was going to be a short yardage monster.
Right.
Right. And that may have shown up early in the season, but the back half of the season, the injury obviously plays a part in this as well. But the back half of the season, I didn't see him using him doing all that kind of thing all that much. They love the jet sweep in those situations, and they got into a rhythm of, we're just going to let Trevor sneak it.
Right.
Right. Like that's where they felt very comfortable doing those kind of things in the offense. I can't remember exactly where their tendencies kind of were on 3rd and 2, 3, that kind of range.
Fair. Yeah.
It felt like they more threw the ball in that situation than they even tried to run it this year.
Yeah. I think they liked their running backs. I think they could look at it after they look through the roster for the next few weeks, and they're going to try to get better everywhere. So that may be one position where they still feel like there's room to grow.
All right, let's take our timeout right here with John Ozier. If you'd like to get in with a comment or question about what you heard from Liam Coen and James Gladstone today at the season wrap-up press conference, we'd love to field that call on the Key Buick GMC phone lines at 641-1010. If you missed any of it, you can go back and listen on demand. And obviously, Jaguars.com has that archived over there as well. Went about 35 minutes today and didn't feel rushed. Feel like they hit most of what people were looking to have answered, at least to the degree that they're willing to go. Again, they're not going to tell you what their plans are with pending free agents. We'll see how that all plays out.
But there was some nuance to the answers that I think
there's some, but like in particularly like the Devin Lloyd, the Buster Brown stuff, it was more of a focus on, hey, how great they did what they did, and let's see where the chips fall going forward. I did notice one kind of interesting, maybe a little eyebrow raiser for me, and we'll discuss that when we come back from James Gladstone. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Duval all day. Search 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Rick Ballou here with a congratulations for John's Auto. They've been in business in Jacksonville for 40 years. That's right, going all the way back to 1985. Right now, they'd like to thank each and every one of you who's ever gotten their vehicle serviced at John's Auto. So, car, truck, or diesel, all makes, all models, whether it's a routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul, go to John's Auto on Arlington Road, JohnAutomotiveJacks.com.
Don't wait for leaks to tell you it's time. Start the new year with a roof built to last from Romano Brothers Roofing. Serving Jacksonville for over 45 years, their family-owned team handles repairs, full replacements, and residential or commercial installs, including durable metal roofs. They even do remodels and additions. Call 904-246-5649 or visit RomanoBrothersRoofing.com for a free estimate. License number CCC 1328893.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go.
Pages in your mailbox right now.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the chairman of Underwoods. With Christmas behind us in 2026 here, the last thing you want to hear is somebody trying to sell you something. That's why at Underwoods, we'd like to stop and just say thank you to all the people that came in our stores over the last year. Whether you bought from us or not, we want to thank you for coming in and giving us the chance to help. You see, in North Florida, there are a lot of people trying to sell you jewelry, but at Underwoods, we consider it an honor for somebody to come in and just give us that chance to help. And if we do a good job, we might get a chance to serve again. Having served North Florida since 1928, all of us here understand what a customer really gives us during that visit to Underwood's. Their trust. And it's up to us to do everything we can to keep it. So on behalf of everybody on the Underwood team, thanks again for coming into our stores. And we wish each of you a Happy New Year.
Hey, Hicken here. Leave all the 2025 dirt and celebrate the new year with our friends from Zero Res. Carpets, tile, hardwood, LVP, area rugs, upholstery. Basically every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. Time to call the cleaner pros at Zero Res, and don't forget about your air ducts. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google with more than 8,000 reviews. Bring in the new year with 20% off carpet and upholstery cleaning, plus take $100 off your air duct cleaning when you mention 1010XL. 287-5727 or book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com.
Bud Light and everyone at Anheuser-Busch want to remind you to get home safely every time. People are counting on you, on the road and at home. Plan ahead with safe rides, and don't forget to hydrate between beers. Bud Light encourages everyone to enjoy responsibly and socialize safely.
This is the kind of sandwich you don't rush. French dip at Firehouse Subs. Premium roast beef loaded with caramelized onions, melted provolone cheese, and topped with Italian seasoning. Stacked on a toasted garlic bread roll with hot au jus for dipping. For a limited time at Firehouse Subs.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
All right, I think this maybe it's a difficult question to answer, right? What would you do better? What do you need to improve upon, right? Because then the logical follow-up in my head is like, well, why didn't you do that earlier, right? If you know what you need to be better at, why weren't you working to be better at that? So I do think it's a difficult thing. You got to come up with something. But James Gladstone was asked about that, and I was surprised. He said, I've got to continue to improve communications, you know, like, because I feel like, John, that is one thing we look at and we're like, wow, you know, Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke needed to improve communications, but Liam and James and Baselli feel like they're in each other's hip pocket and they're talking all the time.
Yeah, I think philosophically, I remember mentioning to James something like that when he first got the job. I was talking to him about something else and just kind of made reference to communication, and he just sort of went on a similar, I guess, direction, just saying that's so important to him, that he's always thinking about it. And his top priority, he believes, especially within an organization that has as many moving parts as a football team, that it's always what he's most concerned about is to make sure that the communication between all parties is at its highest level. So I think that was, if he's asked what he wants to improve on at any point in his life, my guess is that'll be his
communication will be the answer.
Yeah, so that's how I took that, because the communication between the three has been high end.
It didn't
that's
seem
just
like
how
there
dedicated
was
he is
anything
too.
crazy about it. I just thought, that's kind of interesting, because it feels like if you were to ask what is one of the strengths of this team organizationally now, it's the great communication that they have.
And I think his point was they just don't want to fall asleep on that and have it always be a priority. Because he talked about, in the quote, he said something along the lines of, when that starts to wane, negativity fills the gap. So I think they're always concerned about not having negativity fill that gap, was my interpretation of the answer.
All right, fair enough. Why don't we get to today's 10-10 take?
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take. Brightened up by First Coast Paint. Simply superior paint.
Yeah, it's something I talked about a little bit earlier in the program today, and I think the irony of the way you feel about the Jags at the moment, you're probably, you're disappointed because it's the immediacy of your season ending. And as somebody pointed out to me yesterday, he goes, it's not the season ending. It's that, in past seasons when it ended, we thought, I think we got a chance today. We were thinking, we're going to win today. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, the expectation was different. Like, when you go against Kansas City after the 2022 season, you've won, hey, you know what? Free roll, house money, whatever expression. This one was, hey, we're at home, and we understand that. But, and I brought this up in the first hour, John, if you had gone 10-7 this year and been a wild card, and, you had your ups and downs, maybe, obviously, you would have had a few more losses along the way, but you managed to get a wild card. Maybe you would have said, oh, man, we blew the opportunity. Man, we really could have contended for the division. But if you had then gone on the road and lost to, let's say, the Buffalo Bills or whomever it was.
In the same way.
In a very close game,
Right.
same fashion, and you were 10-7, I think you might feel better about it, right?
Sure.
And you'd say, wow, what a great step forward. We won 10 games. We earned a wild card. Well, you did better in all those categories. So that makes the end
always
that much more disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, it's losing in the playoffs is brutal because all the fun. I mean, so much of this, it wasn't just that you thought you had a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Is it everybody's having so much fun, the fans, and then that gets taken away, and it's like you're hitting the gut. And there is a feeling of, I think we all felt it on Tuesday. Well, what are we going to do on Sunday? Like you like that routine and you like seeing fans and the whole thing. So I think that punches you in the gut. But yeah, the fact that they were there and you just felt like they had a shot, it just colors all else. It's such a brutal gut punch.
You know, it's easy to keep your spirits high, Tony, I think, when you're winning 8 in a row, right? But also you're winning 8 in a row as part of a product of you have the right mindset, right? So it works both ways. And Liam Coen talked about that. He said, look, we had great buy-in all the way through the end. In other words, there was no fatigue from a long season. This was like, hey, man, the playoffs are here. And he even said something to the effect of, we got this for a few more weeks.
That was interesting how he put that.
Right?
Yeah.
Like we think we get, like the emotional engine was running at a high level.
Right.
And we think it's still sustainable. There's no, we've limped to the finish line. Oh, we're glad this is over with. It was like, man, we really were able to compartmentalize, focus on the task at hand. It wasn't like, when are the playoffs going to get here? It was like, man, like you said, we're having fun.
Yeah.
Doing this week to week, John.
And look, most playoff teams, I did the math, between Indy and here, I've been fortunate enough to cover 16 playoff teams. Most playoff teams have that energy because you're winning. Winning's fun. But I kind of saw Liam's point. There was a little more, maybe it's because it was the first time for these guys. They were proving people wrong, the respect thing. But it definitely felt like they were ready to put in 3 more weeks and that there was no engines running. And that's how it should feel in the playoffs, but it definitely felt that way. So it's interesting that Liam was so focused on it. Clearly, that's such a priority for him, thinking about how he's handling his team, to be watching it that closely and have that be so prominent. I mean, it's an interesting insight into how he looks at things, I thought.
It's kind of in the intangibly rich zone, right?
Yeah.
It's part of,
Sure.
that alone doesn't win you games. But when you've got talented players and you have that mix, you can get your best performance out of those guys in those conditions. Not every week, but you lay the groundwork and the framework is there for you to excel. And obviously they did to a high degree this year. All right, we mentioned earlier Anthony Campanile getting requested to interview for the Miami Dolphins, vacant head coaching position, that and more as Tony Smith takes us around the NFL.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Houston wide receiver Nico Collins has been placed in the league's concussion protocol coming out of their Monday night playoff game. Buffalo has lost a couple of wide receivers coming out of the game here on Sunday. They announced on Monday that Gabe Davis suffered a torn ACL. Yesterday, head coach Sean McDermott also announced that Tyrell Shavers is out with a torn ACL as well. Curtis Samuel was a full practice participant as he works to return from IR due to a neck injury. San Francisco linebacker Fred Warner was limited in practice on Tuesday. Head coach Kyle Shanahan said the hope is that Warner would be able to return for the NFC title game next week. If the 49ers were able to beat Seattle in the divisional round playoff game this weekend, Chicago is placing linebacker TJ Edwards on IR with a fibula injury. The Bears activated offensive tackle Braxton Jones from their injured reserve. Panthers general manager Dan Morgan said on Tuesday that the team is picking up the fifth-year option on Bryce Young. Tennessee is interviewing Brian Dable for their head coaching job. They have aligned that interview for Friday, and Mike Tomlin announced that he is stepping down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers after 19 years with the franchise. That leaves now 9 teams looking for a head coach across the National Football League.
Doesn't it feel like Brian Dable has already worked for every NFL team? He's kind of that guy.
He's been around a few. It was interesting. Steve Bisciotti of the Ravens, talked about like how he might favor having a retread head coach. Like, you know what I mean? Like
been through it.
Got kind of learned what they don't know. Kind of sanded off the rough corners and cited some examples of guys who have excelled in their second go round.
If there was a magic formula, everybody would do the same thing.
Imagine how good Liam Cohen's going to be after we fire him. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
He just, the second opportunity
I'm
somewhere.
Clip that.
Someday, you clip that and take it to your meats and cheeses stand with you.
When I talk to you about your 3 better, 3 best, that will be one you can.
Yeah, that'll be 3 best left unsaid. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there are so many guys that don't know what they don't know when they come into the position, and they're so much better
hard.
The second time around. Not always. Sometimes you look at them and you go, "Why didn't you learn from their failures the first time to not bring them into the building?" Liam Cohen definitely not in that category with a 13-win rookie campaign. All right, we'll come back with some final thoughts with John Oehser, the senior writer from Jaguars.com. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. When you need a trailer hitch, gooseneck, or RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We've been doing it for 55 years, and customer service is our #1 priority. Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
Spend an evening with James Taylor and his all-star band. The music icon is back on tour. September 22nd and 23rd, St. Augustine Amphitheater. The multiple Grammy Award-winning James Taylor and a night full of his biggest hits. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at AXS.com. Spend the night with a friend. James Taylor.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and when the weather starts to shift a little bit, especially during the fall, you've got some really cool stuff from Honda Off-Road.
We do. It's the favorite time of the year for me. Nice little chill in the air. We've got some side-by-sides. We've got the ATVs. Of course, they're legendary dirt bikes. We've got it all.
And for the hunter?
Oh, we've got side-by-sides that work and play.
All right, so make sure you check it out. Showroom wide open for you on Atlantic near Regency. If you want to go off-road and have some fun, check out Cycles of Jacksonville.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% and homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
When persistent plumbing problems leave you feeling flushed, don't panic. Call Roland Reich. They quote all pricing in advance, so your only surprise is how quickly they'll solve your issue. Roland Reich Plumbing. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
Universal Roof and Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game. Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
Parker Washington dazzled in Duval over the weekend. The young wideout had 107 yards on 7 receptions and added in a touchdown on what was an amazing day. His future is so bright, not even sunglasses will hide the glare. And he's your Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game.
New year, new beginnings, and a new roof. Start 2026 with a peace of mind and take advantage of Universal Roof and Contracting's limited time offer. 15% off all roof repairs and replacements. From leaks to full replacements, call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection today. This special New Year's deal ends January 31st. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust.
License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484. Hello, Jacksonville. This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we know not every injury happens on Sundays. Sometimes it's flag football, weekend yard work, or just playing with your kids. That's why we built a team of fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, experts in everything from knees and shoulders to spine and sports injuries. Whether you're chasing championships or chasing your dog, we've got you. Learn more at osjax.com. That's osjax.com.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron, totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Oh, noes.
Served up by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft on 1010XL.
All right, final few minutes on Jaguars Today with John Ogier for this Wednesday. John, if you had a takeaway of what the message is or the theme is for the Jacksonville Jaguar organization as it stands right now, what would you take away from not just today's press conference, but the overall being around Liam Coen and James Gladstone and Tony Baselli as much as you've been?
Well, the takeaway after the loss to me is clearly, hey, this was great, but we're not going to be, just because we went 13-4 doesn't mean that we're going to be complacent. It doesn't mean that we're not going to look at this roster. 13-4 wasn't good enough. I mean, that's every team's going to say that after this. I have gotten a feeling of immediately after the loss, there's a consciousness of, we are going to make sure that everybody in the building understands that whatever we were doing, while it was good and it was fun, the ultimate goal is more than that. So I definitely think that's what you will hear. I think James said it today. The stone's back at the bottom of the mountain. You got to push all the way up the hill again.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is unquestionably will be the theme and the storyline. And I expect at some point, I'm walking through the MEC in the next couple of months, I expect I'll see some sort of sign.
Yeah, there are certain things I think when, you do achieve a certain level and you don't expect to backslide completely,
Right.
but you still have to reinforce those things. You don't have to build it from ground up.
No.
Because that
But I think they want to take that mindset because that mindset worked for them this year.
Correct. But I'm saying, certain players are going to be back. The infrastructure of your team, more than 50% of it's still going to be in place, right? You're going to have some turnover, but those things that you're instilling in those guys will return, hopefully, in those guys if you've selected the players correctly. So while, you start at 0-0 and you do need to lay the foundation, those guys have to remember, I think if they've done their job and found the right type of people, the intangibly rich people that they talk about always, they're going to bring that attitude back with them, and they're going to understand that we haven't just arrived because we won one AFC South title.
Yeah, but I think they think it's important to make sure that look, let's not assume people understand that. It's going to be something that's reinforced aggressively until they get back for OTAs, and then it'll be reinforced aggressively moving forward.
Yeah. Tony, if you took one major thing away, what was the most interesting thing you heard today?
It probably was, the kind of thing we talked about early, reacting to it with the delineation between the players they talked about that are coming back and the ones that aren't, right? And I think they were very clear on that. It's we know these guys are in the building. We want them to have an expression of how much we have their back a little bit with that kind of thing, how much we believe in them. The couple of free agents they were asked about, they were like, yeah, they had great years. Right? It wasn't even like they had great years and we'd love to have them back. It was they had great years, and we'll see what it was kind of like. It left it all open beyond that. So, look, I think if I was asked that kind of question in their position, that's how I would hope I would answer it. I'm glad that they dealt with it that way. And the Hunter thing was interesting too, the defensive kind of focus,
the common sense kind of approach to that. I tend to agree with you on especially the way they talked about Trayvon Walker, especially the way Gladstone did.
Oh, that was very interesting.
I
really did.
How they always talk about the intangibly rich stuff, but basically Trayvon, he talked about how much he loves it, loves his team, loves his teammates, and that desire to be great and that the willingness to do anything it takes.
What he played through this year, I think, really impressed them.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'd all like more sacks. Don't get me wrong. We'd all like him to be a 12, 15 sack guy every single year. But
come on in, Joe.
Listen in on the conversation there to see if there's anything interesting. But, it sounds like that. I put it this way. I'd be very surprised if they don't get something worked out with Trayvon.
I hope so. I hope so.
Well, that's that. Based on those comments, I would be surprised by it because I don't think he's a $30+ million a year guy. And if that's what he's expecting in the market, it will get interesting. But I think their intention is to find a path forward. And, of course, all the best intentions don't always come to fruition. But
once those offers start going back and forth.
The road to hell is paved with those good intentions, they tell me. That's what they tell me.
It's quite a day for you.
Well, what? I mean, you've never heard. You've heard that. I'm sure. I've heard that a lot more than I heard 3 better, 3 best. I'll tell you that. All right, let's say hello to XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Joe C., hello. Yep. Good morning.
Good morning.
For a few more minutes, were you able to take in all of what Liam Coen and James Gladstone had to say?
I came in not towards the end, but in the middle. Anyway, ETN question, I guess, was the one thing that they didn't really
ask about.
Didn't quite hit.
Don't know. I mean, what is they asked about Lloyd, they asked about Monteric, right?
So
and they're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
And they talked about what they did and how well they fit, but I think they were very calculated and planned that we're not going to talk about their futures because they're not going to be under contract until and unless they are under another contract.
Right. And if you listed them in terms of priority, he's maybe not the most important thing, but he might be, as you guys have discussed, one of the more affordable and good things. And so anyway, you're just looking for a little intel, but you're right. They're not going to show their hand or tip their hand in it.
Who would you want back if you could only have one of those key free agents re-signing?
It's funny because I think you probably need to get a long-term deal with Devin, which makes the transition tag, as you guys have discussed, a little more reasonable for ETN. Buster needs a deal, but they also need to be better in the secondary. They gave up way too many plays to Josh Allen in the secondary, so that will still be a concern and priority with the guys they've got, and if they're going to add something back into it, and it might just be as simple as Travis Hunter plays on that side.
Well, which is something they alluded to as well. I mean, the clear, obvious need is greater there. What's coming up today on Primetime?
We'll do a little Here Comes the Judge, MVP on both sides of the ball, and then breaking down Miami and Indiana. We're only a few days away. It's like 8.5, 9 points this game. So anyway, we'll get into both of those. Obviously, keep the topic going with the Jaguars.
All right, bud. Have a good show.
All right, fellas.
Excellent.
By the way,
Primetime, yes.
Yeah, Denmark's joggers may be one of our topics.
I pulled them up for a second because it got hot in here. That was it.
About what he's got cooking.
What's happening here? He's wearing
the capris that he's got.
He's
capri pants.
You hiked them up?
Yeah.
All right.
For the time being.
He's channeling his inner Baselli.
Yeah, I mean.
Inner Mike McDaniel's what it is.
I don't live in the world of smoked meats and cheeses. I don't know what appropriate dress code is. Maybe he's just preparing for his future. It's your last day with Dylan Denmark, John. Would you like to talk about how much he's meant to you?
I think I already did.
Did you? Brief conversation. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Johnny, what do you got? What are you writing about over at Jaguars.com this week?
I'll be writing off the presser today, and then we'll have the Huddle Up podcast with Bucky Brooks at 4 today. I'm sure summing up a lot of what we've talked about here and what went on in the presser today. So on to the offseason.
On to the offseason. We're in it already.
Unfortunately.
All right. There you go. We'll see you next week. John Ozier out the door for Tony Smith. Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Thanks to the Jags for letting us air that press conference today with Liam Coen and James Gladstone. And if you want, you can go find it archived over at Jaguars.com. I'm sure there'll be a lot more discussion about it all afternoon long on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010.